Close your eyes for a moment and consider the space you occupy. It may seem silent and still, but behind the apparent calm, countless signals move around you, an intricate tapestry of sensations, frequencies, and vibrations that shape your reality. Right now, your brain is quietly filtering out most of these signals, like the gentle weight of your clothes against your skin, the subtle shift of light across the room, the faint hum of a distant appliance. We often ignore these sensations simply because our minds decide they are not immediately important. Yet this same mental filtering, designed to help us focus, can keep us stuck, limiting our access to the vast potential of our own energy. Many of us believe we must somehow acquire or generate more energy to accomplish our goals. The truth, however, is that we already possess extraordinary reservoirs of energy. Our real challenge lies in learning how to refine our awareness and direct what we already have. Think of your mental processes as akin to a camera lens, typically set to autofocus. The lens decides what to zoom in on and what to blur. When you start consciously shifting that focus, you unlock the ability to observe what was always there but overlooked. You gain a kind of manual mode, granting you both heightened sensitivity and deliberate control. Recognizing the energy within. When people say, "I wish I had more energy," they often believe energy is something external, something to be acquired, like fuel in a tank. Instead, energy is an intrinsic part of existence, permeating every atom of our bodies and surroundings. In fact, each human body is a sophisticated energetic system, exchanging signals with the environment at every moment. Even your thoughts are energetic impulses firing across neural pathways. Our challenge is not to get more energy, but to identify and remove the internal blocks, habits, and patterns that squander the energy we already hold. Metaphorically, you may be driving a car with the parking brake engaged, mistakenly attributing sluggish progress to insufficient fuel instead of the brake's resistance. Releasing that brake, in the form of mental filters, negative self-talk, or outdated belief systems, can yield surprising surges of vitality. Think about any skill you have mastered: riding a bike, playing a musical instrument, or speaking a second language. Initially, every movement felt forced and awkward. Your thoughts were scattered, and frustration was common. Over time, your brain rewired itself, forging new neural pathways to handle that activity more smoothly. As a result, your gestures became fluid, and the associated mental overhead diminished. Similarly, when you train yourself to recognize and direct energy, you effectively build fresh neural circuits geared towards sensation, perception, and subtle adjustments. Neuroscience suggests that your ability to learn or rewire never vanishes. It merely slows if it is not encouraged. By practicing deliberate observation, you nudge your brain to reconfigure itself, turning once mystical energy management skills into a natural extension of your daily routine. Our environment bombards us with millions of bits of information per second. Evolution has primed our brains to filter out what seems unnecessary for immediate survival or objectives. Consider how, right now, you can suddenly focus on the faint pressure of your socks around your ankles. This data was there all along, but your mind filtered it out so you could attend to more pressing needs. While beneficial in many ways, these filters can inadvertently hold us back. They discard valuable information like subtle energy flows or intuitive signals. Recognizing that your perceptual system is selective rather than all-encompassing is the first step to adjusting that selectivity. You learn to consciously choose what to observe, broadening your perception of the world, becoming your own energy conductor. You may recall moments when you felt truly in the zone. Athletes often describe this state while performing at their peak, artists when they're effortlessly creating, and business leaders when making clear decisions in a crisis. Such moments are not about increasing total energy. Instead, everything lines up: physical control, mental clarity, and emotional calm, to create a frictionless flow. In daily life, friction arises from uncertainties, fears, or misaligned thoughts. Learning to direct energy intentionally means unifying your system, body, mind, and emotions, so the friction dissolves. A practical gateway to sensing energy flows is breath awareness. Close your eyes, take a few natural breaths, and simply observe how each inhalation and exhalation feels. Are some breaths deeper or shallower, warmer or cooler? Often you will notice how your breathing automatically begins to change the moment you place non-judgmental attention on it. You are already influencing an unconscious activity simply by noticing it. This principle has broader applications. If you can shift a purely automatic function like breathing, imagine how you might also influence your habitual thought patterns, emotional states, and energy flows. Another analogy that resonates is surfing. Surfers do not battle waves. They learn to find the wave's natural energy and ride it. Similarly, controlling energy is not about forcefully imposing your will on something separate. It is about recognizing the existing currents, whether in your thought patterns, your body, or the environment, and aligning with them. This alignment conserves energy and maximizes the output from minimal effort. The perception matrix: how the brain shapes reality. Picture your brain as a dark theater with a single spotlight controlled by your conscious mind. Wherever you direct this light, the stage becomes bright and you see the details. Everything else remains in the shadows. But unlike a physical spotlight that moves slowly, your mental focus can dart rapidly, shifting from your sense of touch to your sense of hearing in an instant. When you train your focus intentionally, for instance, deciding to highlight only certain sensations or aspects of your environment, you begin to override old reflexive filters. You turn up the contrast, revealing previously unnoticed details like subtle energy in your hands or the aura of tension in a room. Suppose you have a phobia of snakes. If you're walking in a forest, your brain is on high alert for anything vaguely serpentine, spotting twisted roots or rope-like patterns that others would overlook. This is a survival mechanism. Yet the same principle can also distort or limit your experience. Beliefs about what is normal or real can diminish your capacity to sense energies. Train yourself to treat beliefs more like hypotheses than truths. Rather than seeing them as fixed walls, see them as flexible boundaries you can test or push against. Athletes, performing artists, and professionals in various fields routinely show that once limiting beliefs can be replaced with more empowering ones, which then expand their capabilities. Bridging into quantum perspectives. Quantum physics reveals that reality operates on principles radically different from everyday intuition. A particle can exist in multiple states simultaneously, superposition, and two particles can remain entangled such that changing one instantly affects the other, regardless of distance. These phenomena underlie modern technology, from GPS to smartphones, and shape our understanding of how events connect at the smallest scales. By extension, quantum principles remind us that observing or measuring something changes its behavior. We are never separate from the phenomena we scrutinize. Applied to energy work, this concept implies that your intention and attention alter the energy you hope to observe or manipulate. Far from being a mystical notion, this idea echoes fundamental discoveries in physics. Traditional explanations often talk about energy flowing from one place to another, akin to water in pipes. In quantum terms, however, energy does not simply move. The universal energy field already exists everywhere at once. We perceive movement as local shifts in energy states. By aligning with these shifts, rather than forcing them, a practitioner can guide energetic transformations more effectively. Quantum theory also points to the observer effect, where the act of measuring or watching forces a particle to choose a specific state. While the scope of quantum physics is often limited to microscopic phenomena, the conceptual analogy resonates in daily life. When you direct your focus toward a sensation, emotion, or thought, you inadvertently influence it. The crucial lesson is that you are a participant, not just a bystander. Breaking old patterns, overcoming cognitive locks. The brain's remarkable capacity to change, neuroplasticity, functions like a double-edged sword. On one hand, it enables us to learn new languages or master new instruments. On the other, it solidifies old habits and self-defeating beliefs. Once certain neural loops have formed, they can feel as unyielding as fortress walls. However, with awareness and consistent effort, you can rewrite these loops. Question each. No response you habitually give yourself, whether it's mental or physical. Every time you step out of your comfort zone, you expand your boundaries, teaching your brain that the old walls are neither permanent nor absolute. We walk through life with mental filters learned in childhood, shaped by social expectations and past traumas, operating like prison walls. We may feel stuck in repetitious patterns, relationships that fail in familiar ways, or cyclical anxieties that keep us from action. Recognizing that these walls consist primarily of thought, we realize how easily they can be challenged. Notice your automatic no thoughts. Do they arise when encountering new tasks or meeting new people? Ask simple questions. Is this truly impossible, or has my brain simply not adapted yet? Such inquiries rip open small breaches in the mental walls, letting fresh perspectives flood in. Overcoming deep-seated patterns often requires gradual exposure. You can start by changing one small repeated behavior, like parking in a new spot at work or taking a different route home. Each small deviation from routine trains the mind to accommodate novelty, loosening the grip of entrenched patterns. Observer and observed, a unified system. Consider a child playing alone, at complete ease, unaware of scrutiny. The moment they sense someone watching, their play changes. Quantum physics has a similar phenomenon at subatomic scales. Measuring a particle's property alters what we learn about it. Applied to energy work, the principle reveals that focusing on an aspect of your energy field can subtly transform it. This is neither good nor bad, but it underscores the need for clarity. Align your intentions with the changes you wish to see. If you sense tension in your muscles and begin focusing on it with the intent to release, that is an active, participatory step in guiding your body toward relaxation. Accepting that your observation changes what you observe can feel disorienting. How do you distinguish between real energy signals and those shaped by your expectations? In truth, both are real. The more important question is whether the effect is helpful and aligned with your values. As you learn to direct your energy, remain transparent with yourself. Are you imposing a wishful fantasy, or are you open to subtle signals that challenge your beliefs? The discipline of mindful attention, where you gather observations without rushing to label them, helps maintain integrity. This approach, akin to a scientist documenting unbiased data, ensures your practice remains genuine. Instead of perceiving yourself as an external force coaxing energy to move, see yourself as part of a single energetic ecosystem. You shift from a stance of controlling it to collaborating with the entire system of which you're an integral component. This shift in viewpoint can significantly enhance effectiveness, because every action feels more like harmonious cooperation than conflict or domination. The quantum mirror, reflections and infinite potentials. Imagine standing before a magical mirror that doesn't simply show your reflection, but displays countless potential versions of you. Each version stands in a different posture, in varying states of emotion or health. This metaphor for the quantum mirror helps illustrate that at the microscopic level, countless possibilities exist until an event is observed or measured. On a human scale, it suggests that for every situation, there are multiple avenues, different energy states available. What we call reality is the path that solidifies based on how we direct our focus, intention, and actions. If you've ever looked at fractals, you notice the same shapes repeating at different scales, like the branching pattern of a tree matching the branching of its tiny twigs. The quantum mirror suggests that even what appears chaotic might house deeper symmetrical patterns. As you engage in energy work, you may detect recurring rhythms in your emotional states, thought forms, or physical sensations, mirroring fractal geometry. Recognizing these patterns is crucial for consistency in your practice. The notion that we are entangled with all phenomena implies co-creation. Instead of passively witnessing events, you actively share in bringing them about. If you are building a skill or healing an aspect of yourself, consider that you are shaping one of many possible outcomes. By learning to read the intangible script of possibilities, you exert gentle yet potent influence on how those possibilities become real. Rescripting the inner movie, harnessing mental rehearsal. Our thoughts weave mental movies of potential scenarios. Visualize a negative outcome, like fumbling a speech, and you may inadvertently prime your body to respond with anxiety, tension, or fear. In contrast, rehearsing a calm, confident version of events can pave the way for a more poised performance. Neuroscience supports this. Mental rehearsal activates similar pathways to those involved in the physical practice of a skill. Athletes, musicians, and public speakers who utilize visualization see tangible performance improvements. Practical steps to effective visualization: identify the scenario. Whether it's a professional presentation or a personal challenge, define the context clearly. Observe your default internal movie. Are you seeing mistakes or disaster? Acknowledge it without judgment. Replace it with a slightly improved version. If imagining total success strains credibility, aim for incremental progress. Use multi-sensory detail. Involve sight, sound, texture, and emotional feeling states. The more vivid the mental movie, the stronger its impact on your nervous system. Overly positive or grandiose mental movies can backfire if they contradict deeply entrenched beliefs. Gradual improvements embedded in your visualization maintain authenticity, nurturing a belief system that can grow with you. Each step becomes a foundation for the next, leading to sustained transformation in how you experience and direct your energy. The grand realization: all is one, and you are awareness. Another key stage in understanding energy is recognizing that beyond thoughts, emotions, and physical sensations, there is always an aspect of you that simply watches. This awareness cannot be pinned down or contained. It neither comes nor goes. For many spiritual traditions, this is your true nature, an unchanging observer witnessing the ceaseless flow of experience. This recognition shifts your perspective from "I have anger" to "anger arises in me. I can watch it come and go." Thus, your sense of identity expands beyond fleeting states, fostering inner calm and resilience. In everyday life, a sense of separateness prevails. You are here, the objects you interact with are there, and so on. Delve deeper, and you find everything merges in a shared energetic field. Quantum entanglement, holographic principles and fractal patterns hint at a universal unity underlying perceived diversity. Embracing this unity can have tangible outcomes, like reduced self-centered worry and increased compassion. You begin to see that the energies influencing you are the same energies influencing others. Rather than forcing changes in yourself or your environment, you align yourself with the broader field of existence. Unity consciousness does not imply passivity. You can still set goals, solve problems, and take action. The difference is that your efforts stem from a grounded sense of cooperation with the flow of all things. That synergy amplifies your ability to mobilize resources, form connections, and smoothly integrate new possibilities. Shattering the illusion, mind-created reality. Many times we treat our subjective impressions as absolute reality. For instance, if you walk into a room brimming with confidence, you interpret subtle signals from others differently than if you arrive anxious. The environment itself may not have changed, but your mental filter has. Recognizing these illusions fosters humility about what you perceive. Societal constructs, like money, success, or even the nature of time, are, to a large extent, shared beliefs. They may function effectively, but they can also limit imagination or hamper personal freedom. Realizing that these frameworks are not cosmic absolutes, but rather fluid constructs, can liberate you to explore alternatives. The biggest illusions are often about who I am. Early life experiences, social norms, and personal traumas all feed into an identity matrix that might tell you, I'm clumsy, I'm shy, I'm unlucky. These stories feel real until you challenge them. Once you see them as constructs, you can write a new script aligned with a freer, more expansive understanding of yourself and your potential. Embracing the infinite field. Right now, there is more energy around and within you than you can possibly measure. You are not waiting to receive it. You are already immersed in it. The objective is to learn how to direct that energy in purposeful, liberating, and life-enhancing ways. Throughout this guide, we have traversed a broad landscape, delving into the brain's filtering systems, the power of focused intention, the revelations of quantum physics, and the illusions that can imprison our potential. At the core of these explorations lies a single premise: everything is energy, and you have always been part of the universal field. Each time you expand your awareness, question limiting beliefs, or gently observe new subtleties in yourself and your environment, you rewrite the rules of your own energetic realm. Think of yourself as a musician who finally switches off autopilot to become the composer of your life's symphony. The notes, your thoughts, emotions, and choices have always been in play, but with conscious attention, you transform them into a coherent masterpiece. This journey does not demand superhuman effort or esoteric secrets. It only requires a willingness to look honestly at the illusions shaping your experience, a readiness to question the old scripts, and a steady trust that your mind, body, and spirit can learn new ways of being. You are the observer, the mover, and the dance itself. You always have been. Now is the moment to reclaim and rejoice in that truth. Every day, you refine your capacity to direct energy, step further into your potential, and discover that the boundaries you once saw as immutable are malleable. Existence is an unfolding tapestry of possibilities, each thread brimming with new energies and potentials waiting to be guided by your awareness. As you move forward, remember that the power of energy control rests not in force, but in alignment. Not in push, but in acceptance of the organic flows of the cosmos. Your attention shifts reality, your openness invites growth. And so, you learn to ride the wave, painting the quantum field with your conscious intentions. Let each breath be a quiet testament to your innate ability to shape the currents of life, affirming that the guidance you seek resides within you, always ready to bloom in the fertile ground of mindful observation and heartfelt purpose.